We're starting soon. Hold on. Today's more of like a variety show because I'm going to do some creative process stuff, but then I'm also going to do some testing with my future lineup of sound effects, backgrounds, making sure everything works. It's like a test broadcast for Wednesday. To make sure everything is linked up properly. If I like the settings for the karaoke, the microphone, video, everything, the levels. We're going to get started. But yeah, we have still a few more things I need to set up. Okay, so jumping right into it, we're reworking a lot of different samples today, but this time we're using royalty-free sounds that were found on Epidemic Sound, and I already downloaded all of the ones that I want to get things moving with no delays. So whatever that means, I'm on my own time. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. And I hope you have a restful rest of your day. But I do want to show you the various materials that we're working with today. So this is a sound effect tutorial, not really a tutorial in a step-by-step fashion, but more of a, this is how I'm working with different materials and showing you how I do things. And my method is more of a go with the flow, flow with the go process. And I like to see what happy mistakes I make and that I end up liking in the end. So we're working with the text from the liners on the back of this album here. And it's a big Western movie themes album, Geoff Love and his orchestra. And a lot of the time, okay, that was small print, so I typed it all up here. A lot of the time, people, when you listen to things on like an online music streaming platform, unless it's Bandcamp, people don't necessarily see this kind of information. They don't, right? It's not shown. Pardon any background noise that you may be hearing. I have my window open to get some fresh air in, but yeah. So this is why vinyl records are wonderful, or having like a physical copy of an album, because there typically is a sleeve and information on that sleeve, or yeah, so that is included. And this is an obvious thing for people who already collect vinyl records and or CDs, cassette tapes, whatever it is. That's more of a physical copy. So yeah, on this specific album, there was a very long block of text. Really great drawing, by the way. I liked this one a lot. I like the perspective of it, and it's super simple but effective in showing the power dynamics between and the perspective of these two individuals doing it, having a standoff. So the part that I will be reading from is, I believe here, film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns. And this part here about strings. The strings can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. So I will be reading that. And what else? There was other materials that I will be reworking. There are, I'm not going to play it, but this video, which I have the link in the description box. So there's an actual Arctic blast that's currently sweeping across the Northeast right now in the United States of America. I believe also in Canada, around, along the East Coast and along the East, like mid-East portion of the continent. So of the Northern Hemisphere. So we're having like a lot of cold air around these parts, and long story short, it's weird because I didn't know that this was going to happen this year when I wrote the radio play, and it so happens that we will be experiencing a lot of cold, high winds and snow, stuff like that in certain parts. So especially in the Poconos apparently had a lot of snow. And that's something that this came out a day ago, covers, and it shows like a photo of the Poconos. So I thought that was really cool. There's real, actual, like a timely and geographic, I don't even know what the word was, just like accuracy to the story that I did not see coming when I was writing, because I started writing this in November. I found that really interesting. So other videos were going to be in terms of reworking it, I'm not going to strip anything. I don't encourage that kind of stuff, but what I did do is I listened to them and I wrote down some key terms that came out of these videos, the way that they talked about it, and the cases, the stories. In this case, it's the New England serial killer story that, and this is not meant to like sensationalize or alarm anyone about it, because it's not like a big story. It's happened before. I believe like in the 90s, it's happens a couple times where and I don't know anything about these stories, but very, very vague droppings of hearing that there may be one or several in New England. And it's because there are these different cases. So that's something that I listened to 3 different videos here. And I want to be sensitive to it, but at the same time, it's been broadcasted several times by many people on the news, and I don't know how to, honestly, like I want to switch to like a tab right now, but like I want to be sensitive about it. But the thing is that, this started playing the moment my tab opened. So yeah, but this was on the Law and Crime Network, which is a very highly subscribed channel. So I'm not using any of this audio footage or anything. However, I did listen to them, and it's the way that they talk about it. So that's what we're integrating and we're bringing together. Right now we have, and yeah, this one is a story that is more broadly across the United States about how there have been cases of serial killers on the highway throughout decades, and the pattern of it. Yeah. So specifically the highway system. And as the story goes, this is that there is a highway and they're driving on the I-99 to the Poconos from suburban town. And that's why we're doing this, because the car is bringing together all of this information and then creating this mix of sounds that it's like, what would happen if you were to summarize the news so quickly and bring together all these key terms to give and, serve essentially like the human brain that has received so much information at this point from social media, and we're able to communicate so quickly and retrieve information so quickly without doing like a lot of reading. So the AI basically has been knows how best to provide this information to the human brain, because it's been around humans for so long. So humans developed by human beings and observing them, right? And collecting data and all this stuff. So the AI generates the news in a very quick bite, like a sound bite, and will blast it like an Arctic blast at the green family that's sitting in their car. Well, sitting there, really, they're not driving the car is self-driving and doing everything, and they're sitting there experiencing it. So that's what we're working on today. We're going to do some vocals and say the script that I've written here. I've written up here, bringing together all of these, and not saying it exactly the way that that these reporters have said it. I'm going to close these tabs, but use it in my own words, and that's how you write, right? Like that's how you write without plagiarizing, and like it's not, you do it in your own words. It's like I collected key terms, concepts, whatever, and I rewrote it in my own voice. So it's fascinating because like that's like an interesting thing to do nowadays when you can have a computer write your essay for you, and essentially it does the same thing. So I it's not even a big deal. Like this is funny that I'm even showing, but this is how you would do it. Like this is how you would do the writing portion of this type of sound. It's meant to be inspired by real world methods and like formats, really. That's like real world media, and to recreate reality as much as possible, but then do it slanted in a way that communicates the undercurrent of what's going on, right? Like that's the goal here. So that's where I am allowing myself to have the creative liberties and the artistic, I'm allowing myself to do that today. And when I mean allowing myself is like carving out like my day to do that, which, like I said, it should not be seen as such a phenomenal thing to do, but I don't think a lot of people think to do that as much anymore. I don't have an opinion on that. People can do whatever they want with their day. I do want to show that I have been adding a lot of this information on my mix, and that's what the purpose of the mix is to find information on YouTube, and this is part of the process, like the go with the flow process. And I encourage other people to have like a creative playlist on any platform, streaming platform that allows playlists, as if you're creating things, you know, as an artist, to get inspiration, because a lot of the time we will absorb information and sometimes it resonates deeper with us. And I'm sure you may get like a shower thought or creative idea spark from one of the things that you've seen, or, it's kind of like in the same vein, in the same style of humor, even. It could be like you watch like a funny video, like a reel on Instagram, and you're like, oh my God, that's really funny. And then later on, you kind of like start sounding like the comedian or the person that you watched. You kind of like make your own version of it. So that's why creative playlists like this can be really great for you if you would like to actually manifest those ideas in real life. So not keep it as like a shower thought or like a late night thought, or I'm on the train and I got sun in, eureka moment. If you really want to put it into a physical, material, living thing, or experience, or whatever, and you want to make your own thing, so save it into a playlist, put it all in one place. So that's what the mix is, and I'm sharing my mix with everyone if anyone wants to check it out. And I have thought about creating it into, like, making it into a collaborative playlist. So it is a collaborative playlist currently. I have not invited anyone to it, but that's something that I would want to explore further, and I may ask people to start adding videos into the mix every month. And then this is what I do, is at the end of the month I clear the playlist so that we start fresh for the next month, and it's like a continuous flow of the natural trends and energies in our society, or in the societies that we're connected to, the communities that we're connected to, the trends of the kinds of things that are circulating around, like certain stories, certain media, certain ideas, certain songs, certain sounds, words, anything that the people that are collaborating with me for the month on the playlist, we kind of like pull it all together. So that's background on what this mix is. I'm sure a lot of people, if you've ever looked at it, been like, what is this? This isn't only music. And it's like, no, it's not. And if you notice, a lot of these have music videos, these songs, and that's the point of that, is also to show the cinematic quality of music videos, and how the people who created those music videos have been influenced by several artists before them. So they're kind of like, they're working with bigger ideas, and bigger as in ideas that have already been evolved and developed over time. and in a way passed the baton on to the next artist in a way. So, and then the artist gets to rework it into their own voice, right? So how would they, it's like an ingredient and it goes in, it's like eating like a piece of fruit and then being like, oh yeah, like today I'm a little bit more energetic because I had an apple, like that energy or whatever is from the apple. So I don't know why I chose apple, but that was that's an example. That's just an example. And let's move on to the portion of creating music. Okay, so what are we doing here? I have all of the sound effects that I want already. I have not recorded the script that I have shown you, and that's what we want to do today. Nothing, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep everything in this one sitting, but my goal for this year and for next year is to not think too much when I do these projects and to be more in the present and in the moment and not overthink it. And the reason for that is to master myself as an individual and to be grounded within myself, no matter what, right? And stick to the goal that I have and be focused on it, no matter the distractions, and to keep it light, even for myself, at any given moment, even when it may be like a high like stress. There's no major consequence, I think, for making something silly like this specifically. I'm not talking about people can get in trouble all the time, I'm sure, but for saying things, but this is for within the context of a play, and that's meant to be fun. And the story is I think an important story for a time today. It's not entirely coming out of nowhere. It's like I wrote this play based on a lot of thoughts, I suppose. A lot of thoughts I've had over the last 2 years, specifically on like AI, the development of it, and how it could be integrated into our society and the way it would manifest. And it's meant to be satirical, so it's not meant to be like taken seriously, right? I mean, it has a lot of sincerity in it, but I think the sincerity is more coming from like the innocence of the individuals that are acting in the play. Like, and that in a way is a lot of how it is in society. It's like we're kind of like, oh, like what's going on? I woke up today and I took my shower, brushed my teeth, and like I had my breakfast, and now I'm going to visit my friend. Like I'm not premeditating anything. Most people are simply living moment to moment, and we're not always having, and thank God, because it's too much to be weighed down with, the world on your shoulders, and it's difficult to be happy, I think, when you see like the whole entire history of our nation or like the world and every generation that's come before constantly every moment of your day. And it can be very difficult to not see it when you're surrounded. For example, when I was living with my parents the last 2 years, it was difficult because I was surrounded, by objects and pictures of my ancestors, and all of these objects are significant, and they still are. However, it felt heavy, right? Because I had to create like a sanctuary for myself in my room that was more of a reflection of the kind of mind I wanted to inhabit for the majority of the day. And this is when I was living with my parents, and before my dad died, and and he was, like he was ill. And so I was living in a house with like someone who was sick, and that affects everybody. So in the house, right? When you have someone who's not well and physically well, and yeah, it was heavy. And that's what I mean by, I think that there is a lot of sincerity in the way that people go about their life. And it's always good to not judge them too harshly, I think, because I think that people tend to criticize, sit with their sins or whatever, and the things of their past for a lot of their time, and then when we're in motion, we're not really thinking about these things, and there's always that hope that we're surrounded by people who see the best in us and want good things to happen to us and for us, and hopefully we will transform our lives to be better. And yeah, so it is not easy to be living in a house full of a lot of old objects, something that I've learned. So yeah, embracing the new. This story is definitely about like this shift in our society, about people making that step towards transitioning towards the new, and doing that, I think, for like it's like a mental cleanse from what doesn't allow them to move forward and in life. And this year actually is the year of the snake in Chinese and in a lot of the Asian zodiac belief, like charts and star charts. So, year of the snake, and that is the shedding of old skin, And I have my, it's interesting because this year I was like wearing this a lot, but I always see life as the coiling of a snake, or, eating its own tail, and in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, the symbolism of a snake, and it has a lot of connotations, not always positive, especially in I think more of a in the Western world, and Western stories, stories that have been told by Europeans, the people who have inhabited Europe in the past, and also in Asia as well. I mean, the story of snakes is that they're not easy to know what their next move is, I suppose. But there is more of like the physiological perspective of snakes, is that they do shed their skin and reveal the new skin underneath, and it could be different. Like it could be a different color even. So what does that color look like? Yeah. So that is what I also think that this method is today, with like creating this sound effect. We're working with different materials, and we're bringing them together, stitching them together. And what will we reveal? Hopefully, it's the same thread of like all of these news reports that you'd typically be living around at this time of the year, and this time right now in 2025. Like you will be hearing these kinds of news, but it will be told through my my vocal box, like my voice box. So here we go. That was a very long spiel, but I hope that there was a lot of good, I don't know, inspirational thoughts in that. Who knows? It's up for someone else to decide. I have here a lot of different sound effects, and I will play them back so that we know what we are working with. This is a slow process, chill hour, and we're going to make these. And I made a promise to myself that I would do that. That's what I mean by like giving myself permission to do this, because I'm typically very fast. I'm typically very hard on myself, critical of myself, and I think that's a reflection also over times of it being really easy to be tough on yourself when the creative process is always going to be like this. There's no, it's never not this way. I don't understand. I guess a lot of the time people may not be creating stuff and they watch, but this is why I'm showing you, like, this is what the process looks like. I wanted to take my keyboard out of it because I will be using my typing keyboard for this part. We're going to be chopping up things here. So these are all royalty-free sound effects. And the goal is to absorb the sounds of news reports on the radio in the past. And I want to kind of get like a sound that recreates it. And I don't think that the news would ever sound like this ever again, but there is a nostalgia factor in the brain. It reminds you of news being told on the radio, and that's all that matters in this situation. Like, I don't want it to be technologically accurate to our times and contemporary, the way that this specifically, how the news will sound in the sound effects. Like in the track that we're creating, we're going to be creating the final track with all of these materials, right? So what would I call that? The final track. And then so here are the little bars and the little just pieces. And then I want to show you an example that I heard, and I was like, oh yeah, like that could be, like that could be how it sounds. So this is to inspire me. I'm like, is this how I want it to sound? I don't think so. I'm going to play it now. And also just like a heads up on this. This is, I don't know how old this actual news report is, but it's about JFK and his assassination. So it's quite old. So yeah, we're going to be recreating a final track that sounds kind of old at the same time new, with like the new sounds that I have on here. My microphone quality is obviously different. So it's like, how do we blend the old with the new, or the present, right? To show what's going, like where we're at right now in society. Okay, so I don't think you can hear this right now. We're going to fix that real quick. So in the time being though, that is something that I have noticed today. I have had to restart everything like 4 times, and it's been very frustrating. I'm not sure why, but yeah, OBS seems to be having issues with, like I have to re-input things that I already input because the sound isn't linked, or this is like tech talk, whatever at this point when I share this information. But yeah, it's been annoying, and I've had to like re-input things, but you can see it on my screen and all that, but the audio, it doesn't go through, which is very frustrating. But yeah, this is why I'm not stressing, you see, because this stuff kind of happens throughout, even when I'm working. And yeah. All right, so we're going to hear this. It's JFK. It's a news report about the assassination. And I want you to hear what that sounds like. We're going to listen to it with you.
Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963 at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in...
So it's very muffly, right? It's kind of like the Charlie Brown intercom. and there's a lot of crackles every time a person talks. So it's difficult to hear. It's distorted. And I don't want it to sound like that old, right? But I do like the kind of like urgency of it, because I'm a sucker for this kind of sound. Like, it reminds me as well of radio, even though it didn't really sound like that in the 90s. It didn't sound all muffled. Sometimes it did. Like, sometimes those anchors really had really bad levels or something. It was like their levels were blown out. Yeah, so we're going to, and then they would talk very aggressive, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, and it's like a lot of sounds are going off, and it's a lot. It's overwhelming and overstimulated. And it is, I guess, a way to keep people awake while they're driving. So we're going to do it in that vein. It's kind of like, I don't want it to be that aggressive, though. We're going to do our best. So another thing that I found funny is the Dime broadcast from yesterday that I had with Dime. There was, with Dime MSG at Myrtle Wombat, what happened was at the beginning of the stream, there was this weird sound that was going through. And this is one of those moments where OBS did this to me, and all I had to do was restart my audio box. And when I did that, it didn't sound like that anymore. So there is something so strange about how OBS will suddenly, there's so many different things that are connected and input into the OBS that you have to be really quick as like an AV tech person when you're doing broadcasts on OBS to identify which connection is the cause of the sound issues. In this case, though, it was a mistake. Like, it wasn't supposed to sound like that. In the end, it sounded fine. Like, I restarted and then everything sounded fine. I did like my test. Here we go. And it was fine. Welcome to the show. And all I did was I restarted the box. So, and closed out of OBS and restarted OBS. So those were the two things. It wasn't the actual equipment hardware itself. It was, I think, the software. Somewhere along the way, something happened. Yeah, so I ended up recording that beginning because I thought that was funny, that it sounded so strange. And I was like, I'm going to use that in my final track for this. What we're going to use for Carpool Christmas Carol. And the car starts, so it starts acting like a self-automated being. I have like, my hair is like boop, 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 crawling up on my little snake up onto my mouth right now. Cool stuff, right? And super cool. And then I put it in here, so you'll hear. That's funny. Like, it wasn't meant to happen, right? So I want to keep that I will use that as an original sound effect that I made, because you see how the hardware will work, but then sometimes the software doesn't work. And it's a real moment where my computational device, like my automated system that I had built, like my tech started glitching out on me. So yeah, this glitch is going to be, this real glitch is a real sound of like what your car, if you had like an AI car, like what would happen if it glitched out on you and started acting strange on its own. So here you go. This is what it would sound like, an actual sound. I'm not making this up. So these two, merging this with like this broadcast
The 35th President of the United States was assassinated.
It's like not that different. It's like distorted, right? There's like a distortion to it. Then it's like, what are you saying? Like I can hear you, but I can't really hear you. It's so weird, but it's creepy too. It's like there's something on the other end trying to say something to you. It's like, what is it saying? Spooky, right? So I like that phantasmagoric quality to it.
By former U.S. Marine Lee Harvey Oswald firing an...
Right? So like how do we merge these two together? All right, so that's the goal. All right, but we're actually going to use this as like as a good place to start. Okay, that's like the foundations. It's another example. So what are you saying? I can't hear what you're saying, right? So it doesn't really need to be super clear. That's what I'm saying. The reports, but I do want some of that clarity to be there at certain points. Yeah, I already downloaded all the car sounds as well, like what the car will sound like. I do want to clean through some of those. Yeah. Here we go. So yeah, we have a lot of like actual Tesla car sounds. I don't know if I'm supposed to, am I even allowed to even say that it's like, well, I have to say it because it's literally what the file name is. So I don't know how else it's part of the titles, but I'm not promoting or pushing for anything like that. The car that I'm driving is not that car. By the way, it's not of that company. No, it's not. But speaking of Tesla, like Nikola Tesla. Speaking of Nikola Tesla, what a cool, interesting human being, I think, because I find it fascinating that a lot of people, his technological findings, discoveries are used by all of us today. And it's like nobody really realizes that it was, like an immigrant from another country who brought those ideas over into this country. And now we're all like, it's like normal to be using devices that he thought up of or he dreamt of and he envisioned. Yeah. So I think that's fascinating. Isn't that fascinating? So yeah, we're gonna be talking to ourselves a lot while we're doing this. This is how it is. But come chill with me. If you're joining now, if you're joining at any point, I may have to repeat myself a few times. We are making a sound effect for Auto. Auto is an automated self-driving car. Okay. What is it that we should have? Well, we need to have it needs to sound electric when it starts up. Okay, so this one's kind of like wires. When wires, there's interference between wires that are connected. So I don't know if I really want that sound. I don't want to sound like there's going to be, like there's like a sound system issue. But I like that. Woo. A little bit of that. I want it to kind of sound like there's electricity running through this car because it is electrically powered and charged. We're not going to think too much. There's a lot we're working with here. So that's kind of like, there's something that's trying to speak to us through this. So I want that here. You know how, yeah, it's a way for the car to, it's trying to speak, and it's trying to speak through the news reports. And, it's fascinating. The question of, is this, is this alive or not? I'm not here to answer that question, but how people write essays or we create art, it tends to be stitching together found materials that are in our environment, and that to manifest, or like physically manifest an idea. Okay, so yeah, that's something that we'll be doing here. Try to show that it's kind of like, what is this a being? I'm not trying to even propose that computers are real, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Are we creating? So this is an actual thing that happened. This is my voice. And then I want this sound to come on. It's like, how there has been a lot of these YouTube channels over the last few years, millions of followers and millions of listens, and it will automatically be played at nighttime in your time zone, of like 243 hertz, like frequency sounds, to like calm your brain waves so that you can fall asleep. That's what we're doing with this sound. It's to establish it's like aware that the human beings are freaked out that it sounds so bad. Like whatever this like car sounds like, just like that. It's like they're freaking out, right? Like, what is that noise? Creepy, right? And then it starts to play this kind of like very calming, like sound wave. So I'm going to have it like build pretty slowly. And I want that to be, it says vocals. It's not an actual vocal track, but I'm going to add, I saved all my effects that I want to use throughout this project here. Okay, so perfect, which means I can just turn this on. I'm going to turn ambiance on to get things started. Do you see what that sounds like? And around the head as well. I'm going to turn this track down because it does not have any effects on it. I really want to hear the effects and how it's. Also, apologies, I am sick. I took some echinacea to blast myself with like a plant medicine that would help. So I have work for the next 3 days, and putting on the show and everything, using my voice a lot. So I gotta make sure my voice is okay. Interesting. Yeah, without can't really tell around the head if that's really happening, like if it's having any effect on it. Okay, so I want that to be there. I don't think I need this one. I'll keep the ambiance one. So this is called New Day. New Day. Sunshiny New Day. Yep, that's electric sounds. We're going to add that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this electric. Okay, and electric. And then this one is dime. Okay, dime from the dime conversation. And okay. We may need to double up on some of these electric sounds. So I'm going to make 2 electrics. May need to. We will, for sure. Okay. We're going to do that. All right, cool. So that's good. It's going to be a fast one. Like, it's not going to be a very long sound. Oh, that's going to be played. And that one sounds really, right? It's like, I don't want to hear that. Let's turn on midnight. Soften that up a bit. What does that sound with Wanderer? Turning the high frequencies to lower is okay. Wanderer, it sounds kind of like a reggae sound where it like repeats. Wow, 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 wow. So I like it. A lot. This is what the actual sound effect sounds like. It's the electric magic spells, electric manipulation, electric blast sound effects for a mage that is specialized in electric power. Right? Like, right? If you're playing like Baldur's Gate or something. Right? But through this distortion, it sounds very different. So we're going to keep that. And here we're going to start this up. This one's also like a magic spells one, so we're going to delete that. We don't need to double up on the same sound. Okay, we're going to keep things like variety. Okay. Let's see what this is. This one's called Electric Weirdness. This one I will put around here at the beginning. My MIDI keyboard is on, so you heard me pressing one of the keys on my piano. All right. I think that's okay. I want this sound to be somewhere in the back. I don't know about somewhere in the back of, in terms of panning. Okay, how do I do that? So I guess track panning, you bring that down and then, so left to right, essentially, throughout that one track. As a solo, isolated track, this is what it sounds like. So, you know, like pans from left to right. Okay. Cool. So that's done. That's done. Okay. All right. So that one's quite loud, that sound. I don't know if I want it at all, but we're going to add it anyway and see what happens if we add it to the mix here. And trust the process. I'm going to turn Wanderer on, see what it sounds like. I apologize if it's horrible. Okay. That's good. Awesome. We're going to keep that. Let me hear what these sound like over here. So that's going to be transition between two different stories. Okay. We're going to have new stories. And moving this over. That one's going to be like for one of the new stories when they come on. Very powerful sound. Okay, we're gonna see. Okay, I'm gonna see what it sounds like on this one. Yeah, it's a lot more toned down there. And Dime has no effects. So we're gonna bring that one down. Okay, and then I want to create a new track here. Also electric. So these are all the electric sounds that we're playing around with from royalty-free downloaded clips. Okay. And this is to create a soundscape for radio play that is happening on Wednesday. Okay. And it's for fun, right? Like this isn't commercial. No one's paying for anything. So to view, it's meant to be like a fun seasonal winter play to show what people can do when they do live broadcasts on whatever resources that are available to people at this time in human history. Woohoo. We're not doing anything super crazy here, but what I do want to do that is special is recording my own voice and adding the effects to it later. And the point of it is that this is only playing for a few seconds in the show as like a sound effect. It's like, what can you make with a low budget? And this is what we can do without when you're your own boss, when nobody is watching, what can you make? I don't think anyone's watching. Nobody. So we're going to have that sound pop in. I want to distort these a little bit by bringing the pitch up. Or what if we bring it down low? That sounds pretty good. Okay. That's freaky. Sounds like something's going to hit them. Cool. All right, so we have another one here we're going to play around with. It's like the news notification that there's news. So I think like whenever he wants to say something, it will make that noise. Okay, so it'll be in the beginning. And what does it sound like? Oh, that's the same one. Okay, cool. We don't want that at the end. We want that at the beginning, and we've already got one. So moving on to another one.
News.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. It's like news. So yeah, that's what that was. I remember downloading it and being like, yeah, that's good, because I want it to sound like not my voice. I needed someone else's voice, because I'll be doing the voices for the news stories throughout. I wanted something different. So it goes, news.
News.
And I'll click it.
News. 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 News.
All right, what happens if I add a little bit of ambiance to it? No, I don't want that. Wander? Let's see.
News. News.
That's what I'm talking about. Kind of like it when there's that repeated news.
News. News.
Well, we're gonna make it sound a little different. It's silly. Okay, cool. That sounds good. And then we're gonna continue.
News updates.
News updates. Okay, maybe he says it 2 times, or it. I don't know. She. It.
News. News updates.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna add this one here. I like it. I like it a lot. What does this sound like? Oh, we already have that one.
News.
We already have those ones.
News up.
We already have those.
Kennedy was riding with his wife Jacqueline. Texas.
We don't need those ones. Those are the sample broadcasts. Imagine that, hearing like old news from the 60s today, and you're like, what? That already happened. That already happened. What do you mean? It's gonna happen. It's happening. It happened again? I think that would be good to be in the beginning. So it's like after he goes news update.
News update.
And then it's going to be like the Western vocal track here. Kind of like introduce what's going on. And then have... So I'm going to double up on these. Double up on these. Keeping one. Keep that one. Yeah, I feel like these are the times where people want to watch Love Actually and like The Holiday. And I debated doing like a Jack Black and The Holiday like sound opening when I started this broadcast, and I was like, you know, when they have like Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility, like those kinds of period pieces, drama pieces where there's like a person in like the field and it's dewy or the sun is setting and it's golden hour and there's a lake and then a person's in that Victorian, I don't even know, Victorian times, probably wrong time period, but yeah, during those times, and like wearing clothes from the provincial town somewhere, like a farmhouse that's also a stately home, and there's a estate owner, property owner, father with his daughters, and I was gonna be like do like a soundtrack to that to really get us into it, into this Christmassy, wintry feelings, because at this time of the year I feel like a lot of the time people want to watch those kinds of movies, and I do too. I watched a Hallmark film for the first time last, what was it, 2 nights ago? Well, I watched it over the course of 2 days because I am very disciplined with my sleep schedule now, and I am super cool like that. When I go to sleep at 10, I try to. You know, it's like when I go into sleep mode and I turn everything off to be healthy for me. I guess that's healthy for me. And yeah. Watched it over the course of 2 days. The Wishing Tree Hallmark film, shot in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it was so Canadian in that way because when I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, I feel like that's in Canada. Like I know that's Vancouver. I was like, the lighting of the sky, the natural lighting of the sky, the streets, the fashion, the people, even the people who were in it. I was like, I don't know, it has this like feeling to it. It's so Vancouver, and to me, because I went to school there, and it was like, I don't know that they have a lot of, they've shot a lot of things, like they've filmed a lot of things in Canada and specifically in Vancouver. A lot of lots, a lot of studio lots. Yeah. That's like one of the biggest industries out there, just like doing entertainment, TV and films, stuff like that. So that was funny because I never watch Hallmark films.
News update.
Okay. Great. I think we're done with all of the little sound effects I got here. Yeah, we don't need that one. We're done with that one. And then the rest are all car, Tesla sounds. So, all right. What we're going to do is we're going to get right into the vocal part where we record. I'm going to group all these together. They're going to be called electric sounds. Yay. Okay, cool. Close it up. We don't want to look at that. We have to look at what we're going to work on right in front of us. And this is what I mean. I was going to do like one of those soundtracks to like one of those provincial town British period pieces. What I want to do is pivot. We're going to pivot towards our own sound creations. Yeah. We're doing this. We're going in full speed. I have my script here. Let's turn on our microphone. Oh my goodness. I love doing these so much, but I'm also very I'm nervous because I have not practiced my like news reporter voice in a very long time. And let's get into it. Let's get into the zone and do that right now. What I'm going to do is turn off everything else so that all I hear is this track. And I don't want to hear any of the stuff that I've worked on so far. We're going to record straight. We're going to record straight everything I have written in the script as news broadcasty as possible. Okay, what does that sound like? Okay, so there's like you have to enunciate everything, or you have to emphasize certain words. Breaking news. I have to be sincere about it and serious about this. But it's hard right now for me to do that. I'm not feeling broadcasty right now, but we're going to push through and we're going to do it. So the script I have here is, I'm going to read it off. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that I'm going to do kind of like an NPR radio host voice for that one, because it's more. When the moon hits your eyes like that, right? No. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns. This is something I'm reading off. This is like if someone were to do an audiobook. That is the sound we're going to get inspiration from. Okay. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns. Something like that. A little bit more dreamy. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay. I hope all of my things are turned off. No, they're all turned off, and we're recording. So let's get into it. We're going to do a couple takes. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of fate. I think I have a typo in my writing. Uh-oh. We're going to have to do that again. I was like, that is straight up, like, that is definitely a typo. We're going to find the scripts here. Okay, film composers. I got it. We're going to do it again. Rewind. All right. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen, with a sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. Why is a vicious hero? Let's do another one, okay? We're going to do that again. Add to this the kind of action that follows when armed men are fighting for their survival in a lawless society, and you have some of the ingredients that make Western compulsive viewing. Add to this the kind of action that follows when armed men are fighting for their survival in a lawless society, and you have some of the ingredients that make a Western compulsive viewing. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen, with a sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the wet. Oh God, I fucked up. I messed up. All right, let's do that again. With the sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. I think that's fine. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to go further with that. I think I like broke myself a little bit doing that one. I broke myself a little bit with that one. Okay. Let's go back. So we're going to do some cleaning up and find the part that we want. I hope okay, that's not it. Film composers were not slow and like how, yeah, I want to be a little bit more drawn out and boring, like maybe I'm going to keep this one because film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of fate. I think I have a typo. Okay, wait, where was I? Okay. Do that again. I was like, we're going to find the scripts here. Like, yeah, don't you love hearing film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. Let's do that again. I'm going to try it again. I like the first one the best, and I messed up when I was recording. So record and action. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. With a sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. Yeah, that's good. Something that's like super quiet and not a lot of energy. Not a lot of energy. Something quiet. Okay, cool. So we're gonna plop that in now. So we already know. I know where we're gonna plop that in, and we're gonna plop it in somewhere around where the strings start playing. It's like do 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 do. Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, I have to turn that track on. Okay, hold on. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have developed a style of music that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. With the sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limitless horizons of the big country, and with triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. So I want that. I want all of these to kind of go in and out. So it's like all of these newsreels are mumbo jumbo. I don't know if that's like a good word to use, but it's like, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, but like it's when you chop up something and you turn it into a salad, like it's like a word salad. So it's not, what I mean by mumbo, just like it's not confusing so much as it's like a dance. It's like a dance of various sounds mixing together that come together and make like a whole piece within itself, which is a song if you think about that, like all songs. And the themes within this, it's like it kind of is like cyclical, and it like circles back and back, like back and forth. It's like A B C A B C A B C. But I'm thinking like A B C B C A or something like that. Like I wanted to ping pong between these three stories. I have three stories. Like one's a serial killer that's in New England, which is an actual storyline that's happening right now this year. And then the other one is like the weather, like the extreme weather, which is not cool at all to even like, there's nothing funny. It's like it's insincerity. These are issues. Like these are like current news issues. And these are the themes that are replaying in this like beat across the year. So that's where it's like the structure of the way that the sound is going to be is in a lot in that way. It's like these themes keep hitting the same thing over and over again. All right, here we go. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for Westerns, and they have... Okay, so I think I don't need to have the second part that expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. With the sweep of the string, so it doesn't even need to be in order as well. I think because it's like these ideas are being transmitted across. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for West. With the sweep of the strings, it can conjure up the limits, expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. I want to make this a little bit louder because it's hard to hear. Limits expresses the romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. Than the actual what? What did I say? The action on the screen. Than the action. I don't even know what I said. That's funny. Limitless horizon romance of the West even better than the action on the screen. What? Well, see, I guess that doesn't really matter. I don't even know what I'm saying. West. Okay, we're going to turn this down because it needs to match the levels of the other ones, but I do like the layering of them. Very much. Taking up the challenge of writing for Western. Sweep of the strings, it can conjure up the limits, expresses the romance of the West even better. That of the big country. It will triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. It's kind of creepy, hey? Taking up the challenge of writing for composers were not slow. Composers were not slow. Taking up the challenge of film composers were not slow. Taking up the challenge of writing for the strings that can conjure up the limits, expressing the romance of the West, a big country. Even better. It will triumphant brass welcome the return. Film composers were not slow. Taking up the challenge of writing for Western. Sweep of the strings that can conjure up the limits, expresses the romance of the West even better. It will triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. Okay, conjure up the big country. Sorry. It expresses the romance of the West country even better. It will triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. It will triumphant brass welcome even better. It will triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero. Cool. Okay, so that's fine. I think we're good with those. And I'm not going to... Oh, right. I said I was going to kind of like A, B, C, A, B, C. So we're going to leave the rest of it over here and we're not going to touch it. Okay. So we know for sure that the entirety of this is within this segment here. And I'm putting brackets here and turning on loop. So we know when it ends, like the actual length of the final piece. It's going to be around roughly 3 minute long audio clip, which is pretty long. It's like longer than most of my songs that I've done. And this is for fun. So here we go. Cool stuff. Okay. We're going to continue recording. I find that funny. Sometimes the things that are completely for no reason whatsoever can be pretty great. Turns out, there's no purpose for this, truly. I'm doing this for fun. Okay, so vocals. We're going to turn off. This time we're going to turn off the electric sounds again. And what are we going to record? What are we going to record? We're recording the script here. So far I have completed this. So it's gone. I'm going to also take that away. All right, we're going to do this story here, this piece. So it's two different people talking, and I need to sound like two different people for this one segment. It's going to be... Meteorologists are tracking Earth forecasts in the weather sphere. Or no, that can be like the weather person. Meteorologists are tracking Earth forecasts in the weather sphere. What can you tell us, Tammy? Well, well, we can be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short. No, that's not how like weather people sound. Like weather people are pretty straight faced and they sound, well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short lived. The Poconos is looking like the Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland with new untouched cover of snow. No, that's like an advertisement for a toy. Okay, let's try this again. So it's like, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland and with new untouched cover of snow. And all of this is going to move quickly through the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the... Wow. This is a tongue twister. Changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor, and that's because it's at and above freezing. Before transitioning to plain old cloud cover. It's too fast. And all this is going to move quickly through the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover. There's a lot of mouthiness to it. Okay. Yeah. Meteorologists are tracking our What can you tell us, Tammy? Meteorologists are tracking our forecasts in the weather sphere. What can you tell us, Tammy? Something like that for one person. And then the other one's like, well, we can be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. Short-lived. A little bit of like a deeper voice. Well, we can be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. Yeah, something like that. But the Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland and a new untouched cover of snow. And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour. Something that's like kind of, it's like almost like optimistic about it. Okay. What are we going to do with, okay, the last one is going to sound, I kind of want to pitch it down, or I might have someone else record the last one and send me their recording by phone. Like I could have someone do that right now while we're here. I'm going to send a message to someone and see if they can send me a recording real quick. Hey, I'm going to ask my coworker, Erin, who's in the play. Hey, Erin, are you able to record something to voice record? Yeah. I think he's at work right now, but I'm not sure. Record this on your phone and send it to me right now at this time. No, yeah, I don't, we'll see. Let's see. I mean, like, I don't want to be too much. It's too much of an ask. But in the time being, I'm going to, it's too much of an ask. Not an ask, with a K at the end. My goodness. Sometimes I don't even know. Okay, so it's like, well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s. Yeah, I'm going to say that like it's a good thing. And then, okay, so let's start recording right now. Here we go. Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland with no untouched cover of snow. And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover. Something like that. That's good. I don't know. We'll see. And then I might have to take out the part where... Sorry, I am extremely excited because I need to get on with this. We've got to get on with this. We are making a sound effect for a radio show. Hold on. Okay, so I kind of hesitated there and I don't like that. There's no hesitation. I'm going to take that part out and I'm going to retain the rest. And boop. All right, cool. So we're going to clean that up. And I like to have a little bit of fade in and out for these parts because I don't know. Sometimes I'm like bumping into my microphone, as you know. I'm a big bumper of my microphone. Hot mic gets bumped a many a times. And that's part of the workflow. I'm kidding. It's all part of the mess we make here on Mid Apothecary Radio. Happy messes every day. Okay, so that part goes off, and then we're gonna continue. Okay, so hopefully Aaron can record something and send it. But so in the time being, we're going to complete this, and I'm going to turn the electric sound on again. We're going to see how this sounds. Okay. It's like so happy about the weather. It's the weather, you know. So cool. To get that information. I studied geography, so I'm not kidding when I say that. It's cool. I think the weather is the best thing to talk about, especially at parties. Okay, so that doesn't sound right. How come? Oh, this one was also selected. No, it doesn't sound enough like a radio and has the office thing on, so we're going to cancel that. What else? We could try out the... Oh, there are a few other settings here. I'm gonna copy them all, and they come with the with Ableton Live. I'm making my job easier right now because I might distort as we go along. We'll see. Change the effects a little bit more. It's like a pedal. Think of it as like a pedal. Each one of these digital pedal. Okay, so I might need to. I will. Let's see. We're gonna give this one a go. Okay, yeah. I might. Why does this have like a different volume? Not sure why. Why is that at a different volume? What's up with that? What's up with that? I don't like it. Oh, I see now. Oh, okay. I got it now. This one needs to be brought here. Yeah, that's okay. What's this recording? So yeah, one of the things that happened, I can't give everything away, but there will be like a cloud that descends upon them as they're driving. So it's it's all relevant information. Okay, that sounds good. Let's see if I turn this one on as well. I don't want this one on as well. We'll keep midnight on. See what happens if I turn Wanderer on down here. Kind of It's silly. Kind of like that. I think the first one was the best. But I don't like the beginning of it. Sorry if it's annoying. Fascinating. It's not very clear what I say in the beginning, so can't hear. Okay. What if I were to put this here? Specifically at this Winter Wonderland part. Like a Winter Wonderland. All right. Yeah, that's fine. I'm like not happy with it, but it's okay. Yeah, that's good. Whoa, no, no, no. Winter Wonderland. Transmission. No, I don't like that at all. I never liked that one. I want to see if I can work with it though. Triangle? It's okay. It's all right. All right, at this point, it's mixing it back in with, okay, we have to do the serial killer storyline. Here we go. And then maybe we can end with this big Western vocal again. Yeah. Wait, did I record a better version of this? I feel like I did and I lost it. It's okay. It was like a more soothing. I guess I don't need that. All right, we're not going to use that part, and we're going to start recording the serial killer. Sorry, I got like a little fruit fly around me. How do they, when it's winter time, they don't want to leave, and it's like, I think like by fall, if you have a fruit fly in your house, they're going to do everything they can to like stay alive. If you don't get them out any earlier than that, then winter, is it only gets colder and colder outside. It's like they're never going to go out there. They're never going to go. Ew, it's probably not from that long ago, but who knows? Maybe it's like the descendant of like the one from summer. I don't know. Hopefully not. I did throw away some. Never throw fruit away in an open trash can in your house. Always put it in like one with a lid and take it out as soon as possible. Do not delay. Oh, delay. Do not delay. Okay, so we're going to record without this electric sound and do the serial killer. It's real. It's not funny. I always have to say, it's like, I laugh because I can't believe I'm doing this. Sometimes like, I'm like, can't believe this is like part of my job. In a good way. So here we go. We're going to record. So we want it to sound like, what do we want it to sound like? In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, all found since March. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents. Something like that. It doesn't have to be. Let's do it again. Okay. I want to say more, but I don't want to sensationalize this kind of phenomenon, but it's like a thing that happens in our society. So you have to talk about things when they are an objective thing, right? In your region, like that's a thing, like it's a thing that's happening. You want to keep people informed, but to what extent is it like making it sound exciting? Because there's nothing exciting about this. It's part of the news. It's like knowing that there's trash can pickup. There's a garbage day pickup on your block on Wednesdays. Like that's the effect I want to have with this. So in the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March. Film composers were not slow in taking up the challenge of writing for westerns. Sweep of the strings. It's replaying. Oh, I wasn't recording anyway. Was I? No, I was recording. Cool. Yeah, I was. Okay. So we're going to keep. I liked that. That was good. Pick up on your block on Wednesdays. Like that's the effect I. In the last few months, many have been talking about. Yeah, that's good. In the last few months. So we're going to go back and we're going to finish that thought over here. Put that over here. We're going to continue recording. Yeah, we got plenty of time in this one reel of stuff. So I want this to pop in here. Possible New England serial killer when months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March. Yeah, that's good. And then it will ping pong to this one. And March. All of this is And all of this is going to move quickly
since March.
Changing to sprinkles
Across the I-99 corridor, and that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
Okay, so I'm going to put this effect on here.
Massachusetts and Maine, all found since March. And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to...
I want to lower this one, my pitch of my voice.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found. In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island.
It's not funny though. Like the actual case is not funny, but like my voice sounds.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March. In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
It sounds good.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot because like bringing the pitch up once. So up one, okay? And this one as well. This is going to go up one. So it changes my voice a little bit.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter one. Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter one.
Oh, that one doesn't sound right anymore.
Looking like a winter wonderland.
Winter wonderland.
The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Winter wonderland.
The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Okay. No.
The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
It used to sound good. Now it doesn't. Because I raised the pitch. It doesn't sound right. What does it sound?
The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds pretty good.
Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland. Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Okay.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the 99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
Okay. And I think that's a good end. Actually, it's like, we would need this to be the end of the song. Yeah, it looks like we can bring everything in to end around there. Yeah, I guess I don't want it to be too long anyway, but it's always good to have that option, I suppose, to be like a longer sound. You know what? I'm going to keep the full length of it, and then during the play I'm going to tune it out. But like it will be like a continuous sound or song, I suppose. Like I did all this work. I don't want to change it now. It's pretty decent. Oh, I wanted to add sports. That was something I wanted to do. I wanted to add like a sports reel or something like that, because that would be funny. But I want to do it the day before. I want to find like some of the up-to-date, game scores information, and then record before I go to bed, and then have it ready for it to play the next day, because we can do that. We can do that.
Mostly women in Rhode Island,
if it's not too much trouble.
Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor.
Yeah, I want to put this here.
The next hour.
We're going to turn this sound on.
The next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
I need to turn that down. I think, yeah, when it transitions to a new story.
99 corridor, and that's because it's at
March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour.
Since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next
good.
hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing. 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
And then I need another story to start up there.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible new...
Okay, maybe I'll have this panned on in a different way. Like, so it's maybe going from right to left. No, or left to right. It's always easier for the brain to deal with left to right than for this.
In the last few months, many...
Kind of to the front, to the center.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial...
Let's see what else. Oh, triumphant brass walk on the return of the vicious hero. What is this sound? Yeah, this would be louder. Better. Oh, triumphant brass walk on the return of the vicious hero.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and...
Of the vicious hero. Of the vicious hero.
Well, we will...
Of the vicious hero.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Winter wonderland.
Looking like a winter wonderland.
Oh, winter wonderland.
Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland. Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland. Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland. Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
Okay, I like it more like hanging back.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible...
All right, so this one, I want to see what tape malfunction sounds like. Hold on. Yeah, I like that one.
Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
I have to turn this one on. What I want to do with that one is have it a little bit off. And then, okay, please don't hate me for this one. I'm going to double it up. So I never know what things are going to be like until it happens. I want it to slowly dissipate, almost kind of like something is leaving the orbit. So it's like, was it, oh, here's a good question. What if the car was possessed? That's the question. Not that I'm going to answer any of my questions ever or want to have a philosophical answer to anything, but that did bring in a whole bunch of thoughts into my head, is the concept of, because, you know, when things come in and out of your vicinity, like, for example, I always do this example, like when you're standing on a block and then a siren of a fire truck comes into sound in and out. Comes into sound and in and out, you know, like when it approaches and then when it departs, you as the reference point geographically on the block. And when you receive the sound, you can hear it on its approach and then on its going away from you. So in a way, this message that is being transmitted through the AI generated machinery is an entity, like it's receiving this package of information, and is the voice box sure for whatever this energy packet of information, this information, this is just information. There's no, but there seems to be a life to it, because it's information that is based from the collective energy of people, or of all life.
Film composers were not slowly taking up the challenge.
I wasn't supposed to have a philosophical answer to that, but anyway, that's my thought.
Expresses the romance of the West country even better. With triumphant brass work on the return of the vicious hero.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos is looking like a winter wonderland.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor, and that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
And that's where I want to finish the other story. Right there. I mean, that could be left the way. Oh my goodness. Not right now. Wait, oh my God, he's amazing. Thank you so freaking much. Okay, so I did get a recording from Aaron. This is incredible. Oh my gosh. This is so great. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to use whatever Aaron said. I haven't even heard it back yet. We're going to put it in. We're going to put it into this. Okay, cool. All right, let's export it as an audio that is compatible with what we're working with here. And this is Aaron Weather. Anchorman. Excuse me. Sorry, I do have a little bit of cold right now, and I need to spray. I'm gonna wipe these all down, my microphones, before the show. And then bacteria will all be dead by then, as we've learned from COVID times.
Meteorologists are tracking our forecast of the weather.
This is perfect. Okay, so he sent me in a clip.
This is the romance of the West Country. Even better. With triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero.
Meteorologists.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short.
What can you tell us, Tammy?
What can you tell us, Tammy?
Meteorologists are tracking our forecast in the weather sphere. What can you tell us, Tammy?
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos.
Tammy.
Well, we will be in the high 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived.
That's perfect,
The Poconos
Aaron.
is looking like a winter wonderland.
In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
All of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to
All found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 40s and 30s, but it will be short-lived. The Poconos.
Are tracking our forecast in the weather.
Possible New England months. In the last few months, many have been talking about a possible New England serial killer when 13 bodies were found, mostly women, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before
All found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly.
All found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly.
Found since March.
And all of this
Found since March.
And all of this is going to move quick.
Found since March.
And all of this is going to move quick.
Found since March.
And all of this is going to
Found since March.
And all of this is going to move quick.
Found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
I love it when sometimes he doesn't. I know when Aaron helps me out with these, he's like, "Oh, I didn't even try," and I'm like, I know that's what we do. Like I don't really try. This is very easy for me. Okay, this is easy for me to do fake voices. Apparently, we're gonna record the second part for the serial killer newsline. Here we go. Clear my throat. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents. Yeah, I think that's good. That's probably, yeah, we're going to go with that one.
Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
Yeah. Okay, and we're going to lower the pitch down to 2.
Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
Yeah, I think in the future I will ask people from all over to be little voices on little clips.
Law enforcement were skeptical.
Fun.
Every case was
should have done that this time.
Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
Separate incidents.
Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, all found since March.
And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor. And that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover.
Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case, law enforcement were skeptical.
Let's turn this back on to see.
Law enforcement were skeptical.
Yeah, I'm a little off with that.
Old cloud cover.
Very much so.
Cover. Law enforcement. Cover. Law enforcement were skeptical.
Law enforcement. Law enforcement. Law.
Cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
Yeah. And that's it. Really, we don't need to do any more than that. I thought I had a whole other part with from this heroic audio clip. Let me see what the full clip is.
Old cloud.
With triumphant brass welcome the return.
Old cloud
Even
cover.
better
Law
than the
enforcement
action
were
on the
skeptical.
screen.
Every
With the
case was
sweep of the
different.
strings that can
Authorities
conjure up the
confirmed
limitless
they were
horizons
isolated,
of the big
separate
country.
incidents.
With triumphant brass welcome the return of the vicious hero.
Move
Film
quickly through in the
composers
next
were not
hour,
slow.
changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor, and that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents. In old cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Found since March. And all of this is going to move quickly through in the next hour, changing to sprinkles across the I-99 corridor, and that's because it's at and above freezing before transitioning to plain old cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
Pretty good.
Cloud cover. Law enforcement plain old cloud cover. Law enforcement were skeptical. Every case was different. Authorities confirmed they were isolated, separate incidents.
And then kind of let someone listen to the music for the rest of it. Woohoo! Okay, that's it. I didn't have to do anything more than that today. We completed all the script checkpoints. What I'm going to do is a test for the karaoke real quick, okay? And to see if my microphone is working properly. So yeah, this is my garage. This is where the magic happens. Bro, this is my garage. I spent a lot of time repainting the walls. Got a professional architect to come and show me that I needed an open space plan for my garage and keep it minimal because it's too overstimulating for people who have a lot going on in their life to be looking at the walls and seeing everything in front of them. So we're about, I simplified. I put everything in boxes. I put them in the crates. I got them over here. And then also we have bins where I put all the wires, I put all of the plugs, all of the extra miscellaneous objects that I found, that have no home. And I put them in these bins over here. And then I have some extra tires on the top. This is my garage. This is where the magic happens. Okay. We're going to do some testing of my karaoke set. I want to check out the microphones. So here we go. Also to see if the videos play when I press this button. I knew it was going to be like too much. It's like too much on my end. So it's like it's showing up on oh my god, another screen here to see if things are going through. It's too much on my end. So it's lagging on OBS. So this is an OBS issue. If OBS people, what's going on here? This is too much to have. I only have 3 sources on that scene. A microphone, my Volt, which I'm using right now, a video that is 1080p, and I don't even know what the third one. Oh, Elgato Stream Deck sound input, audio input. Those are 3 things, 3 items on the sources on that scene, and it freezes up on the OBS software operating dashboard, which makes no sense to me. But I love OBS so much, so I'm like, maybe that's like a software update. I need to do a software update, and maybe it's on my end. So we'll see after this broadcast. But it's been acting up a lot while I was preparing for this broadcast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of everything. I think I'm going to export the work that we've done. I'm going to send it to Aaron, see if he's got any extra additional newsreels he wants to add, and I'm sure he will have some that he'll want to add. And it's exciting because my hope is that this is like an open play for everyone to chime in and give their sound bites as well. Anyone, if you've listened to this episode, I wish people would reach out more, because I'm one of those people who's like, I'm so game to like work on anything. I know I may not be the most, I don't want to throw myself down or anything, because that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? I'm doing fine, but I managed to make things today, and I'm happy with that. And that was my goal. But I worry that people are shy about it, and now I'm probably alienating people who have considered it by saying that. But I have the same issue too. I've thought about reaching out to some friends from Vancouver to help with some of these projects and send an audio like I did with Aaron today, and I never ask them. So it's like a two-way, it's like a mutual flop. And yeah, anyway, I don't know why I'm sharing that, but maybe to put some fire out into the ether, to be like, come on people, like catalyst type of spark. Come on people. So happy Sagittarius season. We're in Sagittarius season. Happy birthday to all Sagittarians. And we're going to try, now that I've exported, I'm going to quit out. I'm going to save, and I'm going to play the karaoke reel one more time to see if it works, because it did not work for me on my end, and I can't have that during the actual. Okay, so it works after I change it back. Okay, so it's not going to work this time around. So I may need to do a broadcast test in a few days. Cool. Well, that was how you make a sound effect from found materials that exist already without spending a lot of money and coming up with, having thoughts that you've probably written down in notes and bringing it all together. I've thought about society and AI and all that for 2 years now. And so what I've done here is I've brought those thoughts and those notes that I have, mental notes, together with these found materials that have indeed started to show up in real life. So thank you for watching, and tune into, I guess I'm going to do a test broadcast fairly soon. possibly tomorrow to make sure everything runs smoothly. But if it doesn't, then I'm going to be very, it's going to be weird for me. And then everyone else is going to be like, oh my God, like let's like, forget it, forget the story. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm a real person and it's so embarrassing. Okay. All right.